When Brahma agreed, yes, it is all right. Iti ukta, thus being ordered by him. Sa hi Drona, Bhagavan, eternally the father of Krishna. Bhagavan's father is also Bhagavan. Vraje, in Vrajabhumi. Vrindavan, in Vrajabhumi, Vrindavan, yeah. Drona, the most powerful Vasu. Mahayasha, the very famous transcendentalist. Yagye appeared. Nanda as Nanda Maharaj. Iti thus. Kyata is celebrated. Yashoda as Mother Yashoda. Sa she. Dhara the same Dhara. Habhavat appeared. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Asi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When Brahma said, "Let it be so," the most fortunate Drona, maybe they should have said fortunate. In the writing it says the most fortunate Drona. So when Brahma said, "Yes, let it be so," the most fortunate, I assume, the most fortunate Drona, who was equal to Bhagavan, appeared in Vrajapura, Vrindavan, as the most famous Nanda Maharaj, and his wife, Dhara, appeared as Mother Yashoda. You can repeat it. When Brahma said, "Yes, let it be so," the most fortunate Drona, who was equal to Bhagavan, appeared in Vrajapura, Vrindavan, as the most famous Nanda Maharaj, and his wife Dhara appeared as Mother Yashoda. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Because whenever Krishna appears on this earth, he superficially needs a father and mother, Drona and Dhara. His eternal father and mother appeared on earth before Krishna as Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. In contrast to Sutapa and Prishnigarba, they did not undergo severe penances and austerities to become the father and mother of Krishna. This is the difference between Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha. Om Agyana Timirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the deepest darkness of ignorance, but with the transcendental torchlight of knowledge, my spiritual master has opened my darkened eyes. So there is this here, there is this comparison which is made between Drona and Dhara and Prishnigarba and Sutapa. Drona and Dhara are both Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, who are, and their position cannot be achieved. They are eternally the father and mother of Krishna. But Krishnagarbha and Sutapa have become father and mother, as you know, of Radha and of Krishna. Krishna took birth in a jail. Who has done Rajmandal Parikram here? You? You did it all around? It's a good experience, huh? Very enlivening and very spiritual. And as you know, he took birth in a jail. How come the Supreme Lord does have to take birth in a jail? Why didn't he take birth in a most munificent palace? Why? Actually, Bhakti Maharaj, when we had this Paris temple in Noisy-le-Grand, who was quite downtrodden, the house was quite insignificant in a suburb of Paris, and he told us Krishna is not attracted so much by munificent environment, but where there is bhakti. So, although Krishna took birth in a jail, Yashoda and Devaki and Vasudeva had enough bhakti to him, so he took birth from them. Bhakti is more important than. You have so many examples. When Krishna was going on his way to Sudama's house, I guess, Duryodhana invited him with all munificence to come to his house. But he did not even dare to look at the house, But when this is called bad actions with good intention. When he came to Sudama's house, his wife was so excited and disturbed by her loving feeling to Krishna. What did she do? If you remember?
Yeah, she fed him banana peel.
Yeah, this is called bad action. You don't feel someone peel a banana. You feel that, but with good intentions. What's important? What Sri Krishna is what is the intention? More than what is given. I remember also Radhanath Maharaj told us that once he went to the garden of his mother. It was her birthday, and he simply picked a flower, which was his mother's flowers because she had them grown, and he offered this rose, I guess, to his mother, and she was so moved, because the intention is more important than the present himself, the gift itself, All that to say what? So Krishna took birth where these devotees, loving devotees, are. No problem to, if it's, as we said, it's more, better be with a friend in a tent in the middle of the forest than to live in a palace with enemies. Isn't it? So Krishna is, as you know, Patram Puspam Palam Toyam Asnami Pratasman. What is Krishna is just a flower, a little drop, a little leaf, or a leaf, little water. But what is the ingredients in the verse? With love and devotion. That's what is. Krishna looks for love, actually. All you need is love, And so we are of the same nature as Krishna. And there's many songs about love, about all this. And one song who says, of the 60s, you know, oh, sympathy is happening, 'cause there's not enough love who goes round, you know. He says, when you go to back to your room, you know, in a warm place, there is so many people dragging in the street, you know, homeless people, because there is not enough love to go around, you know. Actually, if you know, I was recently in Hawaii, you know, in middle of which ocean? Pacific Ocean. And I was imagining, you know, wow, Hawaii, you know, they receive you with ukulele, ding, 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 you know, and, you know, they give you flower garland, but I was horrified, actually, when I arrived, you know. Even the carpet of the airport, you know, is more dirty than when you arrive in Dhaka. Dhaka, which is supposed to be a poor country, you know, and all the seats are broken, you know. And I arrived, you know, I wanted to just relax. Arriving, there was a Starbucks cafe, you know, and they made me pay $9 for one latte, one milk, and there was even a fly inside. So at least they changed me the drink, you know. And then I took the bus, and there was so many crazy people, you know, so many crazy people in the bus, you know, and you know, homeless people, crazy people. And I was also then from Hawaii, I went to Los Angeles. Same story, you know, many beautiful cars, and many homeless people, and many crazy people, mad people. So why is that? This is US. That's my experience of this place. It's going down, this place, you know, compared to other places like Japan or China, even Mongolia, you know. We feel that Mongolia is a very remote place, you know, but everything in terms of civilization is there, you know. I had my best, chow mein, you know, chow mein, in a vegan restaurant in, what is the capital of Mongolia, do you know? Someone? One boy here, he lives here, Jyotir, he knows all the capitals of the world. Ulaanbaatar, it's called Ulaanbaatar. Actually, it's a capital which is Karakorum. The actual one, actually, if you've heard about Genghis Khan, he was an emperor. He conquered Russia, he conquered China, he conquered India, I guess, Genghis Khan. He was such a conqueror, you know. And at that time, the capital of his empire was Karakorum, you know, Karakorum, which is maybe, I don't know, 200, 300 kilometers from Ulaanbaatar. And it has been, then he had his descendants, his children, you know, and they were fighting with each other, you know, and the empire was lost. And actually the Chinese people, they completely erased this capital, Karakorum, you know. That's why when you see what Mongolian man, you know, they will say, oh, Chinese, bah, we don't like Chinese, you know. And Japanese people, oh, Chinese, we don't like Chinese. Wherever you go, you know, people are not, they cannot cope together, you know. That's the situation in the world, you know. Neighbors, you know, where are the neighbors we can fit together, you know. It's like that. And that's the situation in the world, you know. As you know, all the situation in Middle East and where else? In Ukraine, you know. There's not enough love to go around. So what to do with the situation is quite difficult for everybody. We are in an age of quarrel, after all. It's called, what is the name of the age? Kali Yuga, yes, right. So what to do, you know? And, you know, but still I was seeing that people can cope together. They can cope together to achieve something, you know. Butchers, they can create a slaughterhouse, you know, manage together, one give the money, you know, and another, you know. People can cope together to product pornographic magazines, or, you know, or we call that magazines, or, you know, movies, or this. People can arrange system to make the gambling, you know, this lotto and this, they manage for that, you know. Meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, and intoxication. And, you know, they are very expert to go from one place with cocaine and all these dirty things, you know, these dangerous things. So if these people can cooperate to do this nasty thing, why can't we cooperate to spread Krishna consciousness, you know? And I was thinking that if we are not able to cooperate to spread Krishna consciousness, actually, it means we are a bunch of idiots. So, excuse me the word. And the salary of idiots is very very minim, you know. And Prabhupada said, if we manage to cooperate to please Krishna, then everything will be okay. You know the story, of course. When the Pandavas were in the forest, Draupadi, she received a boon from the Surya, I guess. He gave her a pot. You know the story? He gave her a pot. And inside this, and she could feed as many people as she wanted. You know, it was a kind of miraculous pot, you know. But once she had eaten, then the pot would not produce anything anymore. I know the story because we made a play with this, the miraculous pot. And Duryodhana, which is by nature is very tricky and nasty, and he has good qualities, like he's a very good manager and this and that, politicians. His nature is opposite to the nature of Arjun, for example. You know, Arjun, which is representing Dharma, Duryodhana is representing Adharma. You know, so he knew that, you know, this pot would, after Draupadi has eaten, this pot would be useless, and he could somehow or other manage to put in his pocket. Who did he put in his pocket? What is his name? Durvasa Muni. You know, Durvasa Muni is an incarnation of Shiva, no? Expansion, yeah. Huh? Partial expansion, you know better than me. And it means that as Shiva is, there is a word for that, is easily pleased. Ashutosh. And is very easily annoyed, you know. So knowing this nature of, actually, Durvasa Muni was terrible, you know. They say I read in the internet that he was looking with sharp eyes who to curse around, you know. It was quite a terrible character, you know. And he knew, so Durvasa Muni, Dronacharya managed that Durvasa Muni comes begging with his 70,000 disciples, something like that, from some food, but just after Draupadi had eaten her meal from the pot, knowing that there will be nothing in the pot, and Durvasa Muni would become very upset and will destroy the Pandavas. You know the story, I guess. Everybody knows the story. So, indeed, Durvasa Muni came to the place of the Pandavas and asked for meal, you know. And Maharaj Yudhishthira, what could he do, you know? He was very, very disturbed. So he said, please go take bath in the river, and when you come back, I will serve you the meal. You know, he tried to save time. And then Draupadi made a very nice a very nice prayer. She invoked, she asked Krishna, you know, "Oh, you with a dark complexion like a monsoon cloud, who wear peacock feather, who has a garment like a yellow garment, you know, whose arms are, you know," she made such a beautiful description of Krishna. "Please help us, you know, please help us." So what happened? Krishna, who was actually in the Dwarka at that time, he came on the spot and he appeared in the midst of in the forest, in the midst of the Pandavas. "And what is the problem with you, ladies and gentlemen?" he said. So they said, "Oh, they said the situation. There is this terrible Durvasa Muni, which is very bad, who can become so easily angry. And when he becomes angry, he could destroy the universe, you know, practically speaking. And there's the pot we have, which is not normally could give so much food to everyone, is empty. There's nothing left, you know. So what to do, you know?" And so Krishna said, "Are you sure this pot is empty?" So he looked in the pot, and at the bottom of the pot there was a little piece of, I don't know, sabji, something. And Krishna tasted this little piece of sabji and said, "Oh, I'm so happy. I never tasted such a good food in my entire life. Fantastic." You know? And as you know, when Krishna is pleased, when Krishna is satisfied, everybody is satisfied. So the effect of Krishna having taken this food, this little piece of sabji, all the Durvasa Muni's followers and himself, they was feeling like they had eaten a full Sunday feast, you know, like they were completely pet bora, belly full, you know. And then they said, "Oh la la, but Maharaj Yudhishthira, he invited us to lunch, but we are full. We feel like we ate the universe, each one of us. So let's better run away and save ourselves to be cursed by Durvasa Muni, by Maharaj Yudhishthira." You know the story. So this means that when Krishna is pleased, everybody is pleased. You know. So that's this philosophy, you know. The philosophy of Krishna consciousness is that rather than trying to put water on each leaf or in each branch, on each flower, you put water on the root of the tree. So somehow there, if we, by our activities, we can please Krishna, and these inhabitants of Vrindavan, they are the best gurus for us, or the best example for us, because they love Krishna and they are completely immersed in how to please Krishna. You know, the best love in this world is which one? Mother. The best? Mother. So Mother Yashoda, what she's thinking always about, she's singing how to make Krishna happy, you know. There is this nice verse, Indriya Pritivansha Tare Bolikam, Krishna Indriya Pritivansha Dare Premnam. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who says that the desire to satisfy our senses, Mahaprabhu say, Tare Bolikam. I call this lust. Krishna Indriya Pritivansha Dare Premnam. But the desire to please the senses of Krishna is called love. And that's the example of the gopis. The gopis, as Prabhupada says in his books, you know, he says, they were not concerned so much by their own pleasure. As we say in this world, you know, "Oh, I love you, my dear lady," or "My dear sir, I love you." But what we are doing actually, we are using this person to gratify our senses. So Prabhupada says it's quite revolutionary in this world to hear that, because, you know, we talk so much about love, I love you, you love me, Romeo and Juliet, you know. So much so that they killed each other. I don't know what happened, how it ended, but, you know. So in the name of lust, of love, people are practicing lust. But the only love, Prabhupada says, is for Krishna. It's quite a stunning, amazing statement, you know, because love is considered so much proeminent, you know. It's like sacred love, you know. But we see, and still there is not enough of it. So by real love goes to Krishna, actually, you know. And real shelter, Prabhupada repeats it all the time, is the real shelter is Krishna. That is the real shelter who can protect us from all. What yam yam vapi, smaran bhavan. Yeah. So that's what is a good friend, you know, is that Krishna says, Suridam Sarvabhutanam. That's what they say, a friend in need is a friend indeed. And at what time do we need the most our friend in our life? When we die, at the time of death, you know. And if Krishna somehow or other comes to our heart or to our mind at the time of death, you know, we remember Krishna at the time of death, then the game is, we have been successfully, with, as they say, with flying colors, we have succeeded our exam, you know, we have made the job. And Bhakti Maharaj, I remember, because it was his birthday 3 days ago, he said, which friend of yours, if you jump in a pool of stool, will follow you? Who? Nobody. Who will follow you? But Krishna, as the Supreme Soul, you know, which is in our heart, he will, even if we jump it as a pig, you know, how you say, as a pig, you know. Pig, they like to roam in this kind of substances, you know. He will follow us. So which kind of friend is that, you know? Bhoktaram Yagyasapasam, Suridam Sarabhutalam, Gyadamam Santim. And Prabhupada calls this the formula of peace, that Bhoktaram Yagyasapasam, him who knows that I am actually the enjoyer and the benefactor of the activities of everyone, the proprietor of every planet, and the best friend of everyone, he reaches peace. He reaches, that's a formula for peace. And nowadays, you know, everybody believes that he belongs this part of land, but it will be taken away from us. As they say, we come naked and we leave naked, you know, empty-handed, you know. I heard this, maybe it's true, that a baby, when he takes birth, he has his fist closed. He has all his karma, and a dying old man, he has his hands open. So karma is gone. He has done everything he had to do in this world, you know, somehow or other. So yes, we are here. You are in the company of very, very, very fortunate personalities which are always meditating on Krishna. And even separation from Krishna, I heard this from Gaur Govinda Maharaj. He said that when Krishna had left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, saying he would come back, but he never came back actually. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, as you know in India, you know, when the people are cooking, they make a hole in the earth with a little place for the oxygen, and they put this cow dung sticks, you know. You see some in the villages, you know. So but these holes, they were covered with spider webs, and he says that they were so skinny that the ring you wear to your finger, or to, I don't know if the finger or the wrist, where here, it could go on around their belly. That's not my case. So, you know, it's inconceivable, you know. Even if you imagine concentration camps, have you read? These people, they look like living, walking skeletons, you know. Concentration camps, Auschwitz, all these places you've heard about, I guess. The condition, the physical condition of the inhabitants of Vrindavan was even worse, you know. So what is related to spirituality and to Krishna, it's extreme to even any material situation, but still it's cause of bliss. That's inconceivable, you know. But we see the great personalities, you know. the great devotees, they could tolerate an unimaginable condition, like Jesus Christ, you know. They nailed him. They nailed him, you know. And he was praying, oh God, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing. Haridas Thakur. He was beaten on 26 marketplace, right? So, but how can it be explained, this tolerance of the devotees? We say in this verse, you know, Trinadapi Sunechena, Amalina Madadana Kirtaniya Sadahari. More tolerant than a tree. So how can you explain, how can you compare the devotee to a tree? It's exactly like sunrise and sunset. You know, if you don't know what is the time of the day, the sun rising, oh, you see that, and the sun is setting, but it looks the same. There's no difference. You cannot really know what is, if it's sunrise, it looks the same, but it's totally opposite. You know, one is coming from east and the other one from west. Same way, the tolerance of the tree is due to their ignorance, actually, because they are very, very, very low level of consciousness, so they can tolerate anything. But the sadhus, the exalted devotees, you know, their tolerance is due to their extreme, very high level of consciousness. We allow them to tolerate anything and everything, you know. And of course, we are not Haridas Thakur, or we are not whoever it is, you know. But I remember once I was in Bangladesh, in a place called, in the Rajshahi district, Rajshahi. By the way, it is the place, the district in Bangladesh where you have the best mangoes. The best? Mango. Langra Himsagar, you heard about this, no? Very good mangoes. And you know, I think there is 10,000 people or 20,000 of people, you know, and there is one toilet. So here and there, you know, and during the day it cooks, you know, and you have no shelter if you want. But so I was a bit, you know, a bit grumpy, as they say, grumpy. Grumpy? Are you grumpy? No. Baladev. And finally, Narottam Das Thakur mercy, I could formulate one prayer, you know. Please, Narottam Das Thakur, allow me that whatever happens in my life, in whatever situation I'm thrown by material nature, I may tolerate that situation. So it means that we can tolerate death eventually, you know, by the mercy of the devotees, somehow. Because there's some prayers I'm doing, you know, oh God, can you take away my tinnitus? But I don't feel that Krishna is hearing, or we have heard this one already. But there is some prayers I made, you know, I feel that they have been heard, you know. Because unless the Lord, you know, help us, you know, what we can do, you know. I've had another prayer, if you want to know. It was again in Bangladesh, and we went to, because there had been a storm, and with the lightning, you know, and there's one child who died. We got pierced by the, what do you call that? Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. So it was a bit gloomy place, you know, and the devotee, they made this auspicious activities for the soul of the boy, you know, and this and that. And you know, as a white-skinned guy, you know, I was kind of the, you know, the center of attention. You know, when Western people, they go to remote places, you know, oh, what is this, you know? So I was kind of the center of attention, you know. But then it started to rain. It started to rain quite substantially, you know. And what happened is the devotee, they forgot me completely. And they shut themselves in a house, and they closed the curtain, they closed the door, you know. And I was outside, you know. They said, what is this, you know? Me, the Western guy, they forgot me, you know. They don't even conscious that I'm there. I'm outside, you know. I was becoming, you know, a bit angry, you know. And then this thought comes to me, you know. Even if I have to die from that, please, Lord, allow me to behave in a good way, not to misbehave myself, you know. And then immediately, when this thought came to me, immediately the door was open. Hey, Raja Dharma, what are you doing here? Please come, you know. Consciousness, you know. So this is little prayers which have certain value, you know, for me. Some few other prayers. Okay, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3. If you have something to add.
Yeah, to stick more to the verse.
Yeah.
We see that these two personalities, they were married, but they were really together with Krishna at the center. And Prishni and Sutapa saying they did a lot of austerities centered onto Krishna.
Yeah.
And as a result, they were able to receive so much mercy. So we see that cooperation will remain difficult, but producing huge result when it is centered on Krishna.
Yeah.
And this is maybe also the problem with ISKCON, that have been split in the course of time and losing quite some energy. It's the case for a lot of countries because they fight on the pretext of old stories, concurrence, business, so many things, because they are not centered on Krishna.
Mm.
And even inside the same country, people can become split because they are not centered. It's happening in Europe, in the United States, it's becoming a mess because people are splitted purposely, but they are splitted. Where there is no unity, you cannot build anything. You see also that in the garden, when there is no unity, things don't develop that much. So the main, be it in a family or a country or a community, the main target is to stimulate and have unity.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
Unity will give force.
There's one devotee, you know, that was when Prabhupada was about to leave the world, you know. He said, "Oh, Prabhupada, I want to give my life, my youth to you so you can continue your mission." Kind of empty words, you know. And that's at that time, it's Prabhupada who gave this very famous answer. He said, "If you love me, she knows, you cooperate." And Bhakti Charan Maharaj, at that time, it was in the 80s, you know, early 80s, there was so much politics. People who were repeatedly fallen in the GBC, you know, who were trying to, by politics, trying to take over the entire GBC to do their own things. He was disgusted to the point he was about to leave ISKCON, you know. And there are 3 words of Srila Prabhupada who maintained him, you know, is, "If you love me, you cooperate." GBC is the highest managerial body, and whatever happens, never leave ISKCON. And so these 3 things, these 3 words of Srila Prabhupada, formulas of Prabhupada, maintained him in ISKCON. And eventually these people who were doing so much, by themselves they left the society. In fact, they were removed, you know. So, yeah.
You spoke about tolerance, but sometimes devotee he has to not tolerate some things. He cannot tolerate. So,
yeah.
What the devotee cannot tolerate?
Blasphemy to other devotees or to Krishna. They cannot tolerate. They can become like fire, lions. You know, we say devotee. I remember Gopal Krishna Maharaj, when the first time we went to Vrindavan, he gave a class in Vrindavan. He said, devotee, you have to be like a lion to preach the Krishna consciousness, and like a lamb in the association of devotee. You know what the lamb is? Little sheep, very inoffensive. But don't become like a lamb by preaching Krishna consciousness, and a lion become amongst the devotees. You know, better be like a lamb amongst devotees than a lion amongst devotees. And vice versa. Is it?
Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind.
Some devotees, some young devotees, sometimes we see this, they become lions with the devotees.
Yeah.
When it comes to themselves, they are like too soft on themselves and very heavy with other devotees.
Should be the opposite.
Yeah.
Especially young devotees, they're really fired up in the beginning, but they don't realize that it's the mercy of devotees which keep us for long in Vaishnava Sangha. It's not our own strength or it's not our austerities which are pleasing Krishna, which is our blessings of devotees, which is very powerful.
It's true. Dharma Swami says the same. It's not a movement of qualification, it's a movement of association, of relationships.
Sachinandan Maharaj says, we are not achievers, we are receivers. We are not achievers, we are receivers. We receive the mercy.
Yeah, and even Hridayananda Maharaj said about prasadam, we should not take prasadam, we should receive prasadam. It's true. Yeah, I can finish with this if you want. Again, I said it many times, but because I very rarely give class, so it may have been forgotten.
I have another question.
Huh?
I have another question. My question is then, how do you use discrimination? Because, well, ultimately, maybe we are fools if we think that everyone, it's allowed to have some doubts. We are fools if we think that anyone who is living among the association of devotees is just then to be accepted as a devotee. Because otherwise we just we will accept anyone, anything. So there's a place for discrimination.
Yeah.
And then it should be according to the teaching of the acharyas. And otherwise it can just become sentimental. That's it's my friend is a devotee or what that, thing like that.
There's Narada Muni who he made a disciple of a snake. Very fierce, King Cobra, Everybody was scared of him, He was like the king, Everybody, woo. But then he became devotee, and he became very small, very weak, not weak, but very humble and, tolerant. And everybody took advantage of him. They was stomping on his head, Anyway, so he went to see his spiritual master, Narada Muni, and he told him, see my condition, now I become a devotee, people have no respect for me, they kick on my face. Before I was the king, now I'm worse than a rag on the floor, what is this, what to do? What was the answer of Narada Muni? You show your hoods, but you don't bite. Isn't it?
Yeah. In other words, become like before.
Yeah. You show your hoods.
Externally, but internally keep like you are.
Yeah. You showed your hoods, but you don't bite. Thank you.
I have another question. How should we treat a devotee? Because Prabhupada said in the purport, in this chapter 9, verse 30, at the end of this, that said that the devotee should be considered saintly even if he does abominable actions. But he said at the end of the purport that this considers accidental. He said, he repeatedly in the purport, he said accidental fall downs, accidental fall down. But he said at the end of the purport, if one used it, but one should not use this verse to become complacent. I mean, it's not, I'm paraphrasing, but, and one should not think himself no more a devotee. I mean, this is Prabhupada's words, it's in the books, he writes it. And after he said that he has to be considered, then he needs to be understood he's not a high devotee.
He's not?
This is the last sentence, but before he said that he should not think himself to be a devotee anymore. So how do we deal with someone, or a devotee, that we may know?
I think it's Prabhupada is talking to you. Prabhupada is not talking that you have to do this to others.
No, so I'm not saying that, but we're talking about how to behave with devotees. And
yeah, we have Trinada Pisunichena. With every single devotee, we are like paying obeisances. There is 3 levels of devotees. Every single devotee is better than me. I was listening to Radhanath Swami. He was saying that even if you look at a karmi, he's a meat eater. He was saying there is a Paramatma in his heart. I'm not going to even judge him that he's a meat eater. That's how consciousness should be. We are respectful to every single living entity. Radhanath Maharaj was saying, when you see a cockroach, it's a Vaishnava. When did you pay your obeisances to this cockroach? Trinada Pisunichena.
There is different...
yeah, but you don't take him into the ashram.
I know, but Swami, I mean, for example, Bhaktivinoda Swami has a different approach. This is different approach.
You are not Bhaktivinoda Swami.
No, but
you cannot do what Bhaktivinoda Maharaj does.
I know, but he wrote a book about this particular subject.
Yeah, but but he asked you to take shelter of Jananand Maharaj. Why? You just want to do what you want to do and just quote Shastra to prove others wrong. It's not Vaishnavism. You're not going to last long like this. I know why you're quoting all this to prove yourself.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to... I do think when I understand it. If I don't understand it...
You don't understand it because you are not being respectful to devotees. You have to be member of devotees. You have to be cleaner. That's our devotees.
There is one story. There was one devotee. He was called comment ça s'appelle?
Cutting grass.
Fire gun.
Non, mitrailleuse, comment on dit en anglais?
Okay.
Hein? Oui, anyway. And he went to the. Someone came to him and gathered as much saliva from his mouth and spat on his face. And he could have started wrestling and rolling in the ground, but what he did, he took a handkerchief and he swept from his head, and he continued. And that way he could keep his power, otherwise it would have been spoiled, police would have come, So he took this way of acting. That way he could keep his spiritual strength. Case. Yeah.
Some years ago in South Africa, when Bhakti Maharaj was co-GBC with Giriraj Maharaj, I asked this question: what should we do when we see a former leader, a senior devotee, who is well known for some abominable acts, come to the temple? And Bhakti Maharaj said, you should make them feel welcome, because otherwise, make them feel welcome, give them prashadam, and then they'll come back.
Huh?
And they'll come back to the temple.
Our approach should be, we are respectful to every single person. Cannot be judgmental, discriminating. That's not our role. At least it's a role of a guru to correct somebody. Like an authority who has that position to do it should do it, and they do it with love, affection. Also, I see Jananand Maharaj corrects. It's done with affection, not done with like I know better than you. Or
One thing also about Vaishnava etiquette is if a senior devotee sees, let's say, it's an extreme word, but it could be more mild, misbehavior of a senior devotee, he should not try to correct the senior devotee. He should go to the higher authority, the authority of the senior devotee, and tell him, such and such guy, I'm sorry, Prabhu, is doesn't work, behave nicely, you know. So can you do something, because it's not my position to go and chastise my senior brothers and sisters, you know. You go to the higher authority, but you don't try to correct yourself, the senior devotee. Better go to the authority higher.
I'm going to be maybe called once again, saying that I'm.
I think let's go. It's breakfast time.
Quoting myself, but